Welcome to the Lorehounds, your guide to the 99 problems of Westeros. I'm your host, David, back from holiday families in Essos and the Flatlands.
And I'm Jean, and I'm really still not happy that Sir Sneak Snake is still a snake.
Kicking rocks?
Oh,
how's a snake kick rocks?
I don't know, but he needs like feet, hand. I don't know. I don't belly kicks. I don't know, but you got to get this.
All right, we're going to get into
it. Corliss. This is our coverage of episode 3 of season 3 of House of the Dragon, Rhaenyra Triumphant.
Remember, we are an independent podcast, and if you'd like to get ad-free episodes and bonus content like our 11Zs and Second Breakfast podcast and more, then give us a subscription if that works for you. You can either subscribe at Patreon or Supercast. There are links in the show notes.
You can contact us at our Discord, which is a very vibrant community, let me tell you that right now, for this show and any other show, really. And you can also contact us at our email or leave us a voicemail. Yeah,
you can send those to HOTD, hot D, at thelorehounds.com. And just a quick reminder that I'm not a book reader, but Jean, you are.
Yeah.
But we've got like a really incredible community of knowledgeable, fans, other fans of the show, and people who really participate on the Discord, and others who just don't participate much at all. So, like, we encourage you to write in with your lore questions, with your insights and things like that. So send us an email, or just record a voice note on your phone and send that in by email as well. We also are part of a larger network, and we have a bunch of other affiliated podcasts. So check them all out. There's a Linktree link in the show notes for all that. Jean, you were just on Nevermind the Music the other
week. I was. Mark and we talked about the Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary that just dropped about a month ago on HBO, done by Questlove, which was lots of fun to be talking about such a great band. So, and a great doc.
You guys kept that on the QT on the DL, and I was like, it popped in my feed when we were on vacation, and I was like, oh damn, this is cool. I haven't finished the episode yet.
Yeah, I watched it and I was like, oh, let me post this, and I posted it in our music channel, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, never mind. Let me get these guys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So from there, we just decided to do it, and it was great.
No, I love that spontaneity, and I love that creativity, and that's what's so great about our community and of affiliated podcast is that we can all bounce off each other in that way. So definitely go check out the other affiliates and show them some love. And I have to show some love to Alicia. Thank you so much, Alicia, for covering 1 and 2. I know you have had your hands full because you got Lestat, which I think is maybe your all-time favorite show almost ever, maybe.
That's what the streets are saying.
I'm saying, man. And of course, Silo, which ranks right up there pretty high as a major property of, big favorite of Alicia's. And she and Luke are covering that episode to episode season 3 coverage. And so she's got her hands full with that. So thank you again, Alicia, for holding it down for episodes 1 and 2. I really appreciate that. And I know she's got some voicemails for us. Which we got to talk about real quick, too. We should have mentioned this during the email part. Today, as I was doing my second watch and the outline, I'm just kind of a little bit overwhelmed because I'm also just getting back from vacation, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, whoa, there's just a lot going on with this episode, but there's also a lot going on in the feedback. I've got a voicemail from Mark. We've got some stuff from Nate about this whole question of human shields. We've got some great insights from Dopamini about Rhaenyra and about women and power and leadership and all this kind of stuff. And so we thought we're going to maybe what would be better is to break the episode into 2, and we're going to kick the feedback down the week, down to later in the week, a couple of days. So I think, Jean, Thursday night we're going to record.
Yeah, that's going to work. Yeah, that'll be.
So as you listen to this episode and you've got feedback, you've got time to kick it in, and we'll do the book bitch and lore stuff then too. And I know Alicia's going to have some couple of voicemails for us, not only on feedback for the show, but also some of the lore stuff. So when we get into some deeper lore questions, that's what we're going to handle it on that second podcast as well. And I made the decision, like, I'm not going to worry about spoilers. So I listened to when you guys were talking about episode 1 and 2, I listened to some of the book bitch and stuff. And I was like, oh, damn, there's some things coming. And it's really kind of fun, actually, like to see them laying the groundwork for that stuff later in these early episodes. So, but I'll do my best to, enjoy myself, even though I'm giving myself access to the spoilers and the spoiler knowledge. So it's also hot lore summer, too hot to lore. It is a busy summer. So we've got Lestat, we've got Silo. I know Odyssey coverage is coming. You guys are doing some Supergirl.
Yeah, we're going to do Supergirl. Actually, we're going to do it next week, Wednesday.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it, go see it because I loved it.
Right on.
So, yeah. And then right after Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be here.
Right.
So there's a lot of
and we
stuff
have
coming
The Bear just completed his final season. I have not watched it all yet, but Ron Dawson from Dungeons and Durags and I are going to be doing a podcast on it. And then The Agency dropped all of season 2, which I think if I had watched that in the year that season 1 had been released, that would have been my number 1 show, I think.
Oh, wow.
Without question.
Wow.
It's a proper spy show. It's great. So I'm probably going to do a one shot on that. I got to find somebody in our community, but that's the thing. We got a great community. So I'll find somebody out there who wants to talk about The Agency with me. So we've got a lot going on. And, but other than that, we should probably get into our fresh takes for the episode. And then,
go
for it.
No, I was about to say, so being that we haven't spoken about this really, what were your thoughts on the first 2 episodes so far?
So we talked on the season preview.
Yes.
About how my rewatch of season 1 was like I don't think I had even started season 2 when we did our preview. Like I was just grinding on season 1 and it was just, oh my God, it was just so depressing. And it was just, these are horrible people. And I was just so uninvested. And I was really dreading like this idea of having to cover this show if I wasn't really enjoying it. You know, that's one of the things that we have the privilege of doing with our podcast is we get to cover the things that we want to cover and that we want to like. John and I in the past have covered things that we don't like, and it is painful to do it.
Yeah.
So I was like really getting nervous. And then I finally got through season 1. I got into season 2 and I was like, oh, whew. And I was enjoying season 2 and having a good time with it. And there was just pacing and action. And I think it's an interesting thing that when you come to the cliffhanger of season 2, when you're binging this, like if you're one of those people who's just, I'm going to store it up and I'll watch it all once it's all released so I can watch it at my pace and I don't have to wait or anything like that. You'll just go from the end of season 2 to the beginning of season 3 without a problem, right? It'll flow pretty nicely. So episodes 1 and 2, I really enjoyed. I had some nitpicks on a couple of things, but on the bigger levels, I really agree with something that you said. I forget in 1 or 2 episode or 1 or 2 coverage that this show and maybe even, you know, I think in general, this show is just about Alicent and Rhaenyra. Right. There's at a core, this show is about a lot of things, but at its core is this relationship between these 2 friends. What were friends and what goes on with them. And I just am loving this sort of intertwining between them when she showed up on Dragonstone and in this episode when they're having some conversations and we'll talk about it. You know, but the advice that Alicent is giving to Rhaenyra, I'm like, oh damn, like that, like she should be her hand or something, like, or at least be on her secret small council. So I'm just really loving that when you step back from the show and you look at these 2 and a quarter, whatever, 2 and 2 episodes, 2 seasons and 2 episodes, really this conversation, this story between these 2 childhood friends, I think is a really interesting thing. And
Yeah.
everything else kind of pales in some comparison, because it's ultimately about this question of the human heart, right? These two friends who are in conflict with each other, and how they're sort of these two sides in some way. I don't want to say they're two sides of somebody,
Same
but
coin.
they come from this, they're like sisters, right? And they as they were brought up and all the things that happened. So I thought I just find that all fascinating, and I'm really happy that they're digging even deeper into that aspect.
Right.
Something else that came up too with the whole machinations of where's Aegon? No, oh God, now my brain is awash in characters. Good thing we have a show guide, which we haven't really talked about, which is a subscriber access feature. But we've got a big encyclopedia, which is full of non-spoilery information. So if you have to remember somebody's name, or you're curious about a particular actor or something like that, it's all in the show guide. Anyway, Aemond with Aemon's supposed to leave the castle, and Alicent's trying to get him to fly away with Vhagar. Getting the guards to unload their weapons, all of this stuff, and it doesn't go according to plan. Or with the Battle of the Gullet, like the Triarchy, what are these guys doing here? And all of these things that are going wrong. One of the things that I was really grooving on was how imperfect information can lead to these sort of near catastrophic events, so the results of these events. So then I was just thinking back, man, if you're trying to do diplomacy or secret negotiations or wartime planning back in the day when you didn't have, instant communication.
Email and cell phones.
Dude, like it's crazy that they could get stuff done. I mean, so we're, over on our family vacation here, and man, the mobile phone was the thing. It was our GPS. It was our payment system. It was our, recording our trip. It was, looking up information. Oh, where should we go to dinner tonight? Or, keeping in touch with things going on at home, because we can't just completely be on. We had to do a little bit of work, but like by and large, we were able to be on vacation, but we still had to attend to a lot of things. And having that instant access to information, invaluable. And so like these people are dealing with it in a way that we just can't conceive of. So I really like that sort of highlighting of sort of how things function differently when you don't have information. Speaking of the snake, say that 10 times fast. Sea snake. I was surprised that he survived so easily. So that was like one nitpick that I had. I was like, dude's wearing armor and he sank. Like, what's up with that? Anyway.
We don't know what kind of armor that is, though. You know what I'm saying? That could be the floaty type of armor.
We saw a lot of other people.
They didn't have the proper armor. That's what I'm saying.
Well, he's the sea snake. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So maybe it's buoyant armor. That's interesting. Anyway, but that was like one of my nitpicks, but that was a pretty minor one, because I also get the conceit of the story, and we've got some stuff that we've got to do there. And I'm appreciating the story from what I'm seeing on screen, because I have not read the book, so I don't have any way to judge anything else that's going on. But there's definitely some conceits that they've had to make to keep Corlys around. I don't know that they should have maybe made us think that he was dead so easily, so quickly.
No.
I think that could have been a story.
Let me tell you something. I'm just going to keep up. If they had killed Cersei Snake, we would have took to the streets. You know what I'm saying? We would have took to the streets.
Exactly.
I'm just letting you know that right now. The black delegation would have taken to the streets. That's it, period. End of story. So, yeah.
No, we need to keep Stephen Toussaint around for a little while.
Absolutely.
To talk about. Alice Rivers and Mysaria, loving these two background characters, and I think what they're doing with Mysaria is really interesting. And I was really surprised with Alice just outright saying, "Give me Harrenhal." I was like, "Whoa, that's a bold ask." But I love that character, and I'm excited to see what else sort of transpires, especially with Mysaria too, because she's not. Yeah, she's on the side of the small folk and the side of the queen, but she's not she's angling for power as well. She's playing she's got to play a game because Daemon's challenging her. Yeah, everybody's there.
Everybody is.
The buddy story of Larys and Aemon on the road or Aegon on the road, that was just hilarious. I loved that. So I loved how all that was going. And then just my sort of final up until this point, that look on Rhaenyra's face, on Emilia Clarke's face at the end of episode 2 after, when Alicent comes into the throne room. It was just like, oh man, these actors are just firing at this highest level of performance. It was just so nuanced and so expressive, but so controlled. So it really was just a moment of a scene when I was just like, wow, right there. This season for me is turning out to be really enjoyable. I'm really, really liking what they're putting down and just grooving on the story, the performances, the production, everything that's going on. It's looking great. So.
Cool. Marker, real quick. You said Emilia Clarke, Emma Darcy.
Oh, thanks. Well, who's Emilia Clarke?
Daenerys.
Oh, shit. Wait, we're going to leave this in. Because I can't. How am I supposed to edit this back out? Sorry, everybody.
You got your thrones mixed up.
I'm telling you, man. Well, I'm coming back into it, and it's like, woo, there's a lot going on. I spent pretty much all today trying to get back into production mode and breaking down an episode and stuff like this. So there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes here. So apologies if if I screw up a name from time to time. Anyway, what did you make of episode 3?
Oh, I thought I loved the episode. Rhaenyra continues to be an astounding character for me. Yeah. Everything that she does is just really, I really have no words to describe how much I'm enjoying Emma Darcy portrayal.
Not Emilia Clarke. A million. Hopefully, we stopped a million emails from coming at me.
They are a joy to watch on screen. So that's one. 2, like I alluded to earlier, the sea snake. Gosh. Like I said, if he would have died, we would have rioted. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But apart from that, terrible. And I come back to that often because he is just as manipulating as everyone else on the show. Uh-huh. To the point where I put myself in his son's shoes and I wonder, how long would it take for me to do what needed to be done, which is turn my back on this motherfucker. For my own mental health. And I get that is so difficult to do, but he is so very about him. Everything that he does is in service, not to his children, but in service to him. And hopefully there's something that will redeem that for me. But right now, I can't see past it when I'm looking at Corlys.
I have some notes later on about this because and his position as Hand of a King. Yeah. And I'll say that for later, but I'm just going to interject here and just say I agree with you on what your assessment of Corlys at this stage.
So it's very interesting for me as a viewer who really likes to see this character on screen be so opposed to the character himself. Mm-hmm. To the character of the character, I should say. Right? Right. I love what they're doing with Hugh and Ulf. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to have tremendous payoff. It's really, they're just laying the groundwork for things to happen. And it's really cool to watch the people who make things happen, how they're gonna, how we know, how I can see the brain is turning, the machinations are happening. And it's just really good to me storytelling that this season is hitting on. And that is with all, the first episode with this great battle and all of these things and some of the great sword fights in episode 2. But what came really through to me in this episode was that throughout these first 3, the storytelling has been amazing.
On point.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Right. There was a couple of notes I had in my reaction to episode 3 overall in how the episode is and season are being constructed. So to jump off of your point, the falling tapestry, like the taking down of the tapestries as this running background element of this whole episode. Brilliant. So that by the end, when they light that thing on fire, that big pile of stuff on fire, you're like, wow, like they're really constructing the episode very carefully. The rats, right? We see these little shots of rats, and then what happens? Oh, we get a banquet of rats, right? But that started when? Season 2 was when all that went down?
Yeah.
So there was a thing that caught my ear on this one, which was the tallow, right? Oh, the rats ate all the tallow, so we don't have candles, we're going to be in the dark or whatever. Is that going to play a role coming up in something? Right? So you never know where they're laying these little groundwork pieces, and we can see the function and the shape of that now into 3 episodes of season 3. But how much more are they seeding that we don't even know, that we're not even picking up on yet, right? That it's just there in the environment.
Right.
And I think that's just great television, right? They're actually thinking about television. And then the sound design in this episode was insane. It was so good. It was so good I had to reach out to Mark from Nevermind the Music and say, Mark, I need your comments on some stuff about music, and we'll play that in the feedback episode. But and I've got an audio clip I'll play later when we get into some stuff. Just the way that they were using the strings instruments and the bells and a bunch of stuff to create tension, but also to clue us into the emotional state of different characters was extraordinary. This is a walk and talk episode, right? This is like straight out of West Wing. Walk with me, walk with me as I'm the most important person in this world. And I need to make a decision, but I need to be in 8 other places at the same time. So we're going to have to do this as a walk and talk. So I thought that was fun. And I heard this in another podcast. I forget which one it was. I try to remember when I pull quotes from other things, but this one was just a quickie. And it was this idea that in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, we're always bouncing around to different POVs from different characters, right? Especially in the books. I think this was on the Watch Pod. And so we're always changing our points of views. But in this one, the only time we were not with Rhaenyra is the cold open with Daemon taking the Hightower surrender. But otherwise, we're with Rhaenyra the entire episode. And that is a really unique thing. And I think that's really interesting. And I really appreciated that they're getting a little bold in some of their storytelling decisions. I really applaud that. I think it's cool. I've seen some starting to hear and see some there's a bunch of mixed feelings about this emotion for a lot of different reasons, which I also think is interesting. So again, to me, that means that the episode is firing. It's pinging off of people in different ways. It's not like, oh, it was dumb and the CGI was bad and whatever. But the writers have made choices. The showrunners have been making choices, and they're leaning into it, and they're really doubling down. No, that's not the right way to put it. they're making artistic and creative choices, and those choices they're affecting people and are affecting people in different ways. And so to me, that means that the show has traction, like it's going somewhere. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. we may need to like have some conversations about it, and that's all okay. But the show has traction and it's moving someplace. I think it's a funny episode as well. There's some really funny little one-liners and little quips. And I think that was a big complaint of ours from season 1 was that there was just no joy in this. But when he's like, oh, how do you want to style yourself? Oh, Targaryen. Absolutely not. Right. That's funny. Right. Or even the rats are funny. Like, oh, here's some rat for dinner. Right. That's funny. Right. So we have that levity, which helps us. And then I think what's also just really interesting about this episode is getting this direct insight into what it's like to be a decision maker at this level and how important it is that you have a team of people around you to help you. Because as we saw Rhaenyra walking through after that little small advisors meeting, the tallow and the bedchamber and the, this and then that. And there's just like a zillion people coming to you with a zillion little decisions. And this is a thing that's been kicked around in modern pop psychology in the last few years. The number of spoons that you have in the drawer, like there's only so many decisions that you can make in a day. And when those spoons are depleted, that's it. Like your ability to make good decisions is degraded. I don't know. Maybe Nicole would have some insights on this or something from. Never mind the music as well. But there was that famous thing where Obama, he was like, I wear the same suits every day, so I don't have to spend my decision-making energy on making small decisions because I got so many big decisions I'm going to make. I'm just going to forego as many things as possible. So the importance
and then there
of
are
that.
the things that you can't forego.
What's that?
Well, I think then there are the things that you unfortunately cannot forego.
Exactly.
And I think this episode showed that.
Yeah. And the importance of having a chief of staff or a hand of the queen who is somebody whose job is not to make decisions about the subject matter, but to make decisions about the flow and the shape, the frequency and the volume of the information going to that primary decision maker. She was brought up in a time of peace when everything was chill and flat. So she's been observing and training and trying to learn her role to ultimately take this. But she was doing that in an environment where things were structured and there was order and there was a small council and, people weren't trying to run away with gold or run off with, different members of the royal household. And so also, suddenly all of that decision-making structure is gone, is stripped away, and her hand of the queen is not doing his job, which is to take all that information and shape it and flow it and keep a track of her to saying, how are you doing today? How many decisions can I get through you? What are the big ones? What are the little ones? What are the things that I can take off your plate? What are the things that the master of coin or the master of law? She has none of that infrastructure to deal with it and dealing with it in this insane way. Not even accounting for the fact that physically and mentally she's post-traumatic stress, like she's lost children, she has given birth recently, like physically she is pushed beyond the limits of most people. And so to me, it just so that's some commentary about Rhaenyra herself, but this idea that to be an effective ruler, you have to have structures in place to shape the information and to set it up so that you can make good quality decisions. And that is missing. And Corlys ain't doing his job.
And I think, it's something to say that those structures weren't set up for her. Like inherently, the structure did not see her
right
as part of the structure. You know what I'm saying? Like it was not the people who you would think that she would be able to
rely on.
exactly, right? From when she was watching her father, they never envisioned her.
No, they might have said it, but they didn't believe it in their bones.
Right. They never envisioned her. So that entire system watched her, but they never envisioned that they would have to help her because that was not going to be her role. So yes, she saw it, but how many of the people who were there in an honest way to help her in this moment before this moment arrived, right? So
maybe a couple.
And even Alicent said, when she has a conversation, we'll talk about it with Alicent, something to that effect. How did you do it?
They resented me from day one.
Right.
And they were constantly trying to cut me out of the decision loop.
Exactly. So this system that she's inherited, that she's watched, was never going to bend. They did not intend for her to be the decision maker, which is a whole nother host of shit that she has to deal with.
Never mind taking the gold out of the treasury. Never mind the planting season getting off kill.
Right. Never mind.
Forget all those other problems.
All this other stuff. But the system itself, the people that make up the system, never intended for her to wield the system.
And then so people are up here judging her ability to, handle this.
And she knows it. And she knows it, which is why she must portray what she's portraying, because she knows it. They're just waiting to say, aha.
Right. See, a woman can't do the job because blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, yeah, you never had the opportunity. Like, it just wasn't a fair system.
And Alicent never sat on the throne.
Nope.
All right.
She only sat at the head of the table. And that was like, those guys were bucking her all the time.
Right. But she never sat on the throne.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a lot to talk about in this episode. So let's take a quick...
Start talking about it.
Well, we're gonna. So I was in a dilemma of whether we should do like a sort of a thematic plot breakdown, or whether we should do a episode by episode or a scene by scene breakdown. And I just kind of ended up reverting to a bit of a scene by scene structure, because that's just the way I needed to process it, because I'm sort of getting back into things. Doing a thematic breakdown takes a lot of the ability to abstract the bigger themes that are going on, and I'm just getting back into things. So I thought, well, let's just do the scene by scene, all except for the beginning, the Hightower capitulation thing. We're going to compress that a little bit. We're going to talk about the beginning and the end of the episode in one thing. But the first thing we're going to do is actually take a commercial break. So we will be right back after this short message. And we're back. So let's talk about the Hightower capitulation question. Sorry, that's a little Rocky joke for all you Project Hail Mary fans out there. My daughter and I speak in Rocky phraseology now.
Oh, gosh.
So, like I said before the break, we're going to discuss everything sort of related to the Hightower movements. And Pharaon, I think is what people are calling him now, the fake Daeron. In this section. So Ormond Hightower bends the knee and seemingly capitulates, supplying Daeron, Alicent's last son, with Viserys, who was sent away to Oldtown with his dragon as ward and hostage. Later, the boys eventually found out to be a fake when Alicent is allowed to see him after Rhaenyra decides that the boy can take black. And then at the end of the episode, we learn that Ormond has not only, in fact, not taken the Rose Road home. Hey, everybody, we're going to take the Rose Road home. This is where we're going to be. You can find us if you need. No, he didn't do that. He snuck his forces into Tumbletown, embedding his army in and amongst the citizenry. Just a couple quick notes. Tumbletown is sort of west-southwest from, I think it's like about a day's ride from King's Landing. Correct me if I'm wrong, readers. And then we also learn later that Hugh's wife has gone there to live with her relatives, and they laid that groundwork for Hugh in season 2, because she mentioned Tumbletown a couple of times in things. And then there seemed to be some confusion about the Dragon Keeper and where Tessarion was and why didn't Daemon take the dragon and all this kind of stuff. So what it seems like is they were escorting the dragon back, and then when they got to Tumbletown, they sprung the trap. They had maybe gotten there already or something like that. Have you been able to get any more clarity on the Tessarion, Tumbletown, Dragon Keeper chain of events?
No, because I just just thought about it.
Okay.
So I would get back to you on that one. But yeah, the Dragon Keepers were there. But I have, we've been going back and forth on the Discord about this very scene and about the dragon and fake Daeron.
Yeah.
And why he's from the streets. We call him that brother Daeron. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's what we do. It is Daeron. It's not no Daeron. It's Daeron.
Daeron.
That's how we going. But just wondering why Daemon did not ask him to ride back, seeing that the Dragon Keepers were there, knowing that he's going back to, King's Landing. Why wouldn't he say, hey, we're all flying back. It's just the 3 of us. And now you make 4. I'm still confused as to why that didn't happen.
Right. Because you got 2 dragons to fly cover. If he gets hinky at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just trying to make sense of it in my head, but I can't make sense of it in my head because I don't think Daemon is that. The dragon is bonded to Daeron, right?
Yep.
So why wouldn't you bring the dragon along?
To me, and I get that there's a conceit here, and then that we got to have this so this whole Ormond plot works, right? So assuming that we accept the conceit, then to me, what works is that it shows Daemon's arrogance. He's so arrogant and so seemingly like, oh, well, I got 3 dragons, so bend the knee, motherfucker. Like, this is it, right? Look at me. I'm a badass. I kicked your ass without even, unsheathing my sword. Go home, right? Go home, little man, right? That whole arrogance thing that he's got going on, to me, that's the blindness of not having Daeron, and the dragon and not checking anything. He just thinks he's got him beat so well that it's all good. But why are you flying? Why don't you have scouts on horseback shadowing them to make sure that they're on the Rose Road headed home, right? Like all of that to me all goes into Daemon's, and you and I were talking about this before I think on the Discord, is that Daemon's use of power and his understanding of tactics and whatnot, it's pathetic. It's terrible. He is he's bad at this.
He's a horrible tactician.
Yeah. He makes really bad choices that ends up, half of Rhaenyra's problems are from Daemon. Ultimately, over the last couple of seasons, right? Daemon causes more problems for everybody involved he causes more problems than he solves.
So then I'm still stuck on this. I'm sorry, I got to get this off my chest.
Yeah, that's what Spot's for.
He's there in the field. I've not seen any other bonded dragon have to be kept in line by dragon keepers.
Except when they're
bonded.
Well, except even when they're launching, they're like in the cave. You see the guys with the sticks.
Not in the field, though.
Not in the field. Never in the field.
I can't recall that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you might be right. I can't. We don't see dragon keepers in the field with their sticks, keeping
the dragon, occupied or tame, or when the rider is there.
Right.
So
because they're always there when they're climbing up, when they're getting ready to launch out of the caves or whatever.
Right.
They're there because the dragon rider isn't there. The dragon rider's coming down to meet the valet brought the car around before the driver got in the car.
So again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, but I just can't remember seeing that. And if that's the case, then one has to wonder why Daemon didn't see it. And maybe, as you point out, is because of his hubris.
Right. To me, that whole scene is just Daemon being so fascinated and enjoying his ego so much that he can't see what's going on in front of him.
Right.
And that he doesn't know well enough that his nephew doesn't have white hair. Right? That's an obvious detail. Yeah, the kid got sent away, but that's why everybody spends all this time learning who the lords and ladies are of the world if you're noble. Because you got to remember, you got to know these details because you don't have the internet. You don't have any Wikipedia to look up like, oh, what does this guy look like? Right?
And Ormond does not look like I can trust his word.
From the moment he was there and when he pulled out his sword and bent the knee, I was like, no, something's wrong here. Something's way wrong here.
It just doesn't look like someone that I can trust them at their word. And I know Daemon knows this. I hope he knows this. I would hope that he knows this, let me say. Which is why I was all for him Dracarrying everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's
at least the leadership, at least decapitate, right?
Yeah.
Because didn't our boy King's Hand of the King, what's his name?
Otto.
No. The Kingsguard guy.
Lauren.
No. Cole.
Oh, Kristen Cole.
Yeah, when they were, yeah. Another guy. When Cole was doing his swing up through there, I forget which castle it was, but he basically told the Lord, bend the knee or burn. Not burn, but you're going to get executed. And he executed the one guy,
right? Yes.
As demonstration, and everybody else was like, okay, we'll bend the knee.
Yeah.
So he could have taken Ormond and just cooked him.
Right.
And then said everybody else, you could turn around, go home, or you can,
Yeah,
so to me, it all just goes back to, what's that?
I just have problems with this.
To me, it goes back to Daemon's arrogance. I think it's just it all plays into this question of Daemon's competence and that he's incompetent because he's so arrogant.
Okay.
So there's an interesting thing really quick about this question of human shields, and Nate, who is a military historian, a Japan expert, he helped us out a lot on our Shogun coverage, and he's big into this thing. I asked him to add some comments about human shields, so I'm going to include that in the feedback episode.
Okay.
Because he's got a bunch to say, and I want to be able to take that and sort of synthesize it. That's all in the Discord. But I wanted to think about this idea of human shields as a military doctrine, so to speak. and it's illegal, and so it's not a doctrine as such. It's not like hey, this is how you handle this kind of situation. This is how you handle tanks. This is how you handle, airplanes or missiles or whatever. Narrow bodies of water, maybe even. So it's not a legal military doctrine, but it is something that has been done and is done. And Nate has some points about it, about how to think about it in a medieval society sort of standpoint. But just to think about it a little bit ahead of the question, there's the obvious point that, it nullifies Rhaenyra's air power by embedding ground troops in with the civilian population, right? So that's right there. That's pretty simple. So using human shields constrains the attacker, right? It limits the ability of the attacker to fundamentally carry out their attack. It also changes the defender's value of terrain. So a force that's embedded in and around civilians can make cities and camps and roads harder to attack, even if the position itself is not strong. So they can embed into the town, and that's not normally a good strong point. But now that they've got the infrastructure of the terrain of that town, they can use that itself as a defensive emplacements, right? So, like, if you're going to go in to the town, we can't burn them out from the air, so we got to go in on the ground. Well, now the defenders have a whole bunch of natural, already existing fortifications, and they can do, like, you're going to have to go house to house to do that, and that gets messy, right? Then a third thing that it does is it shifts political and moral costs. So anybody who's causing harm to the civilian can lose their legitimacy and support and sort of ability to act diplomatically, right? So the person who's using the shields is not great, and that's an abusive thing, right? It's a bad tactic. Hey, screw you for coming into my town and making me a human shield. But I'm a little bit more mad maybe at the person who then comes in and indiscriminately firebombs us.
Right.
To take out those guys. So screw you, even double screw you, for actually killing us. Right. So there's that. So whoever's causing the actual harm has a real danger to their legitimacy. And then it changes the way that I think the last thing to think about is that it changes how command and control operates. So when you have a whole bunch of civilians in and around, you've got tighter movement. It's harder to swing forces around. You've got restrictions on what you can shoot and not shoot. And you have to think about your reallocation and your resupply and your counterattack, because you've got a whole bunch of other bodies out in the field of battle that are going to affect the order of battle. They're going to affect how troops are deployed and how you're seen and how you're trying to see the other people. So it's not just as simple as like, oh, hey, it stops her from using the dragons. There's a whole bunch of secondary and tertiary effects. Tactically that it happens to affect. And then, like I said, Nate will have some other points of view on some historicity of it, because it wasn't really a thing back then. But at the same time, it's a thing that you want to think differently about, because your production, who's going to grow your grain and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's a really interesting thing that they're adding into the storyline here is this question of human shields. I don't know. I was kind of monologuing for a little bit. Apologies, but I just got really into this idea of
no, it's okay.
How they're doing this.
Yeah, I think it's disastrous for both sides, basically.
Right.
I think it's disastrous for both sides. But you can only imagine where this is going.
And it puts Rhaenyra in a really difficult moral position.
Yes.
Because Mysaria is pushing her to be friend of the small folk. And that her true power base lies with the people, not with the nobles.
Which Ormond has now
nullified.
Yes.
And then tactically, I think, okay, so the Lannister host is gone, but there's still some, we really need to, I need a battlefield assessment here. There's still other forces at play out there, right? So I think Ormond is holding on long enough for them to regroup and remarshal and some other forces to come in.
Yeah, he has one of the larger forces.
Right. I mean, I think there's other forces out there in the, not just his, but others coming, right?
Yeah, there will be other forces to come,
right,
that come to help. But right now, I think the focus is squarely on Ormond.
Right. Well, and he's digging in, and I think he's trying to bide time.
Right.
And we know that Aemon is good. And, we got Aemon and Kristen Cole, right? Kristen Cole's still out there.
Yes. Oh, God. He's still out there.
And Aemon's still out there. And we know that those guys like to scheme.
Well, right? I don't know how much scheming Aemon can do at the moment.
But they do that. So like I'm saying that I think, they have to be in conversation, is my opinion. I think there's ravens that are flying between those guys.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know how much Aemon is doing currently. Because
he's doing something.
He has a grievous wound. Right? And he's with Alice.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. I forgot. I watched the episodes sort of in a blur of travel and stuff like that. So I forgot. Yeah. He got poked.
Exactly.
And he's in Alice's hands. I forgot totally about that. Oh shit. Okay. So I retract my other statement. So Kristen Cole's out there though. So there's other things going on. All right, let's talk. So now we're going to go into a little bit more sort of straight scene by scene, but there's a lot of embedded issues in a lot of the stuff. Some of these will be quick, and then other ones will be more interesting. I am your half sister. Rhaenyra and Daemon talk in what is now the Queen's chamber, and then they confront Daeron, the Pretender, aka Pharaon. There was the shot of Rhaenyra standing at the foot of the bed, and as she's dealing with the weight of the fact that her father's gone and that she's now in charge. The way that they just this slow camera push in and come in up underneath her face, it was just so good. So good. And as we're starting to get this sense of the weight and the heaviness that she's having to deal with. And then they cut to this master shot of the room with the light streaming in with Daemon there. It's just exquisite, just visually just beautiful. And then we get this thing where she needs to she needs to center herself. And she has this comment about justifying her father's faith. And I was curious about what you thought about how she's reacting to her relative to her father.
I mean, she really thinks highly of her dad, right? Mm-hmm. She sees him as the paragon of what a ruler can be or should be. And I think, the pedestal that she's put him on, that she's trying to, in this moment, and she's talking to Daemon, but she might as well be talking to herself. Right? She might have just be looking in a mirror and talking to herself. Like, I think Daemon should hear these words, but I think these were more her words to herself. She really wants to prove that her father was absolutely correct in his assessment of her. Right? Not in a way to let him down, let his memory down, or anything like that. But for her, it's important that she be the type of ruler that she believed that he believed and knew that she could be. Everything that she's doing in that moment is to call that up, because she's going to need that strength
Mm-hmm.
She's nobody aside from Daemon. Who else is going to truly believe in her? Her children, her staunchest, defenders are, where are they?
Dead. Their kids are dead, right?
So she has to believe this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She has to have the strength. She has to see in herself what her father saw in her.
Because Daemon's still in it he's in it now for the Targaryen big name. And he's serving her, but not for her sake. He's serving her for the vision that he saw of Dany and 3 dragons in the desert. That you shall have, the Targaryens are going to have forever and a day. We're going to rule forever and a day. That's what he's serving. She's a means to that ends.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because in part, yes, I understand, and I can agree with part of what you're saying, that he wants the Targaryen name to continue to mean something. Yes.
Right.
But then he would have bent the knee to his nephew.
Bent the knee to, I see. Okay. Right.
If that's all that mattered to him.
Well, he did, but at that time he didn't have the vision. He was still for himself vis-a-vis his brother. Once he's had the vision, he recognizes that the Night King is the real threat and that it's the Targaryens who are going to be the saviors of the day.
I don't know if I agree that he would go to battle for Aegon, Aemon, anyone else.
Because they are Targaryen. That's true, right? They're
the way he goes to battle with Rhaenyra.
Sure.
I don't know if he would do it just to justify the prophecy.
Okay. But he's all in on the prophecy now.
Oh, yeah. He's not in the prophecy. But what I'm saying is that I think his allegiance to and loyalty to Rhaenyra is something separate from that.
Separate from the prophecy.
Yes.
Okay. I think I have to disagree though, because at the end there, he says, our children will rule. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically forever and a day. And he says earlier, I saw it. I saw this, white-haired woman with 3 dragons at her breast. I think that was in the last episode.
Okay.
So to me, those are all these clues that he's still Daemon, right? And he's still, we're gods, and she looks at him like, bro, you're crazy. What are you talking about, gods?
He wants to go to UT.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him. You know what I'm saying? I heard it's beautiful over there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I didn't go as far as ET, but I can say it's pretty nice over on the other side of the pond. So,
but yeah, we'll agree to disagree on this point.
Right. Well, I think it's a good point to let's keep working it. Right. Let's keep working the question. So there's an audio clip I want to play really quick. This was the setup because I was just so struck by this episode's use of sound design in the score. And did you ever see Conclave from the other year?
Yes, I saw it.
The way that they used the music in that movie this episode really reminded me of that movie. Specifically using certain stringed instruments to create this tension, and the way that they're using the bow and skittering it on the strings or getting these deep resonant sounds. And I got all overexcited and I was like, Mark, you gotta cellos, and how are cellos used to create tone and all this kind of stuff. And so he sent a voicemail in, kind of taking me down a step or two as part of our, we get this ongoing thing. It's pretty funny. And I listened to it ahead of time and he chided me. He says, you didn't have the courage to listen to it live on air. I'm like, all right, you got me. Anyway, we've got a whole conversation about music and tone, but what I wanted to do at this point was play the clip that got me excited about how they're using the score and the sound in this episode. So this is a little bit of the sound, and what's important is not the dialogue, but the musical instruments in the background. So this is from this scene of them leaving the Queen's chambers to go talk to Daeron.
At any rate, we must begin.
See that bell?
The sooner I'm formally crowned, the better.
Hear that?
The preparations are no small undertaking. To house and feed all those you must attend, to organise tourneys, a grand procession.
Daeron Targaryen, Your Grace.
And then how it sort of goes, sort of goes out. So all throughout this episode, there are cellos and violins, whatever. They're using them to ramp tension, to draw out tension, to create these deep resonant sounding sounds. And I just thought it was brilliant. And I think it's what elevated the episode for me, because it's such smart use of score in an episode of television.
Yeah, there's an urgency to this episode. There's an urgency to what she's dealing with, and it comes through in both the acting and the sound.
And I think if you took the sound away, if you took the soundtrack away, the episode would be, it just wouldn't work. It would not work at all the same way. Did you ever see The Crown, the television show?
No, I've never watched it.
Oh, so good. Just from the acting standpoint.
I've never watched it.
It's awesome. Anyway, just the way that who's now I've got Amelia Clark and
oh gosh,
what's her name backwards in my head now.
Not this season. Not this show.
I'm terrible. I know I'm a bad podcaster. I'm sorry, everybody. Emma Darcy. I'm sorry. It's just like, sometimes a neuron gets like bent out of shape and stuck. Anyway, I even have Amelia Clark in the thing, not Emma Darcy. Like, what the hell? Sorry. Emma Darcy, they're acting in this scene. Just phenomenal. The way Rhaenyra is addressing her half-brother. I was just so taken by the performance. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, every time that I can say it, it's just that Rhaenyra is so compelling of a character. And I hope for her. You know what I mean? I hope for her. And that's something that's very rare in television viewing for me, that I hope for best possible outcomes for a character. Normally, I'm just like, let me sit back and watch. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this is one character that I hope for. And I think it's because of the way that the portrayal is being given to me.
Right. The performance. Emma Darcy's performance. Well, let's do this. Let's take another quick break. And when we come back, let's talk about the various problems of the realm. And we're back. Let's talk about the 99 problems of the realm. Rhaenyra meets with her advisors in the small council room to discuss the problems, including no gold, no grain, planting season is off, pirates are about to land, not enough ships to protect the trade lanes, the disposition of Aemon One-Eye and Vhagar, and, the rats. And then as she leaves the chambers, she's beset by the household staff with a million more minor but critical details. I thought it was interesting. Disaster.
That's a disaster. I just kept shaking my head.
And in the music in the background too, right? There's just all of this butempo that's just building.
Yeah, there's like this urgency to it. It's just like, oh no. What else? What else? What else? And it just, oh gosh, disaster.
Did you notice that they didn't use the little balls to like check in? You know, those little marble things.
Oh, yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, they're not using them. Yeah. They're not official, right? So, and there's this question about, like, are you going to bring your small council back? They betrayed me, but so how do you sit a small council? Don't you just can't she just say, okay, small council,
this is it now, right?
Yeah,
right. But it's careful planning because you have to pick from the right houses.
True.
You can't be seen to have favors or to be in disfavor by a particular house. This is all political. All political. And
you ostensibly want to choose somebody who's good with coin or good with laws or what have you. And then we get, I think in the moment, Rhaenyra decides to elevate Mysaria to Mistress of Whispers. Whispers? Is it Attorneys General or is it Mistress of Whispers? Snakes? We got a lot going on. We got a lot of sibilance going on here. Did that catch you? Or I was like, I kind of fist bumped a little bit when she did that.
There was, yeah. I felt it was good to see her there because it was up in the air whether she would be there or not, right? Because when she left for King's Landing, she was like, don't forget me. Like, don't forget me. Don't leave me here. Don't forget me. And it's good that she's not forgotten.
And she's elevated now. So
yes, she's been elevated. Yep.
There was some discussion on the Discord too about whether she's going to be an effective Mistress of Whisperers or not.
I can't see why she wouldn't be.
Yeah. She ran a pretty big network in King's Landing already.
Right.
And she had tendrils into the Red Keep, right? So she already had. Now, maybe, Viserys had a global network, seemingly, but he had years and years to build that. So,
you talking about Varys?
Sorry, no, from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Varys.
Varys. Did I say? Who did I say?
You said Viserys. You said the king.
I'm just trying to intentionally stir up the emails. I want to get feedback. I don't care if it's them, like people taking me down because I got a name wrong. I'm trying, everybody. I'm trying. It's a lot. Y'all don't know. Podcasting is a lot of work.
So yeah, but no, I don't see why she would not be good in this role. I think she has the capability to find shit out. And that's basically what she's doing. She's an information broker. And I think she's proven, she's shown to be good at that. So why coming to King's Landing would she not be able to continue in this role and really, reach new levels given her station? Because in a way she was constrained before, right?
Right.
Now she is in the small council. She is a part of the inner circle of the queen, of the ruler. So that gives her even more latitude to find shit out. So I think this is, I don't see why she would not be able to.
Yeah, and she'll be able to, build back up from her previous network. And I'm sure she has a lot of people who really like working with her, I guess you could say it that way, in a weird way. Like, oh, you're back? Okay, cool. Like, let's go. But I'm sure she has her allies. And she's experienced. She's been around the world. She knows a lot. So I have no doubt in her abilities to do that. Did you catch Daemon's reaction when he learned about the fate of, is it Lord Strong, the Castellan of Harrenhal?
He looked a little
sad.
Yeah, he did. He looked a little sad, which I was not expecting to see out of Daemon.
Yeah.
But I think he appreciated Lord Strong.
He had a little fondness for him.
Yeah, I think so. Because he could have done what Aemon did, but he didn't. Like, for all the shit that I think, and he's terrible person. Don't get me wrong. Please, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying he's not terrible. He's terrible. But there are moments where you can see that if it's not a conscience, there is some sort of morality that has rubbed off on him throughout his years. There's something there.
Interesting.
Whereas for, his nephew who wants to be his son, I don't see that at all. I don't see Aemon in that way. I don't see Kristen Cole in that way. So I think Daemon has more depth to him than I'm willing to give most of the time. Right. But I can recognize it when I see it.
And then he asks about Alice, which, what are his feelings about her as well? And I think that was an interesting. I think that was that whole little bit there was really telling about him.
But he also knows Alice has power.
Yeah. Right.
So what are those two? And he knows that he denied her what she asked of him.
He said he'd bring it up, didn't he? Didn't he say that? He said it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he mean it?
Well, I didn't say that. I wasn't making any commentary about whether he meant it or not. He said, what was he originally going to do to Mysaria? Let her go, I think he said, right? And then it took Rhaenyra to follow through on that. Something I just really wanted to quickly mention too I think it was in episode 2 when we watch Aemond storm Harrenhal. I just loved the mirror of when Daemon did the same thing. Like both these dragon riders coming in and, with their swords drawn and sort of single-handedly running through this castle, even though Aemond, used, dragon fire to burn a bunch of guys while he did it. I just loved the mirror version of these two. And I think I have no doubt that Daemon and Aemond are going to fight this season at some point.
Oh, you think it's going to happen this season?
I don't know if it's going to happen this season. It's got to happen though, right? Like, I don't know when in the storyline it's going to happen, but it's got to happen.
Yeah. The guy wants to be him.
Basically, right? Which is what they were showing with his assault on Harrenhal, with Aemon's assault on Harrenhal.
100%.
He's doing exactly what his uncle did.
100%. Now, what role would Alice play in this, given that, like I said, Daemon told her to kick rocks a little bit?
Right.
You're not getting Harrenhal.
All right, let's go into the next scene. Where's my gold?
I love gold.
Sorry, I had to pull a clip from Goldmember because that's all that came to mind when I was writing this episode up. Rhaenyra confronts Alicent about the missing gold. Helena has some questions, and then Alicent offers some practical advice. And we've got a walk and talk with Rhaenyra and Mysaria, and Rhaenyra thinks she sees Jace. This and the later scene with Alicent and Rhaenyra, I think, were some of my favorite scenes of this episode and really elevated this whole episode. Because it goes back to what we were talking before, and what sort of your point is that, one of the core elements of this story is this relationship between Alicent and Rhaenyra. And so Alicent has done everything that she can to get Rhaenyra back into the castle. And here they are, meeting in this moment. And not only are Emma Darcy and what's Alicent's actress's name? I'm looking it up in the show guide right now. Olivia Cook. Not only are they just both phenomenal actors, just acting the hell off of each other, the idea that when Alicent offers some practical advice, like, hey, nobody knows what he looks like. He's dead. You could do this is your play. I'm like, oh, like if Alicent could advise Rhaenyra, through these troubled waters right now, like that would be like, I don't know practically how you do that, how you keep that information secret that you're getting in from, because like seeing these, these two characters, having the former queen regent and you, the new queen, working together, I think the citizenry would have a hard time parsing that. But man, Alicent is just a font of information and practical advice. She's walked this path. And later that conversation about like, you can't know what you don't know because you haven't walked this path yet. That she understands how to do this job would be such a benefit to Rhaenyra in this difficult time and getting things in order.
I think in this scene we see Alicent really, having to I don't want to say confront, what she's done or anything of that nature, but she in this moment in this talk with Rhaenyra looking at her like saying, why should I believe anything that you said?
Mm-hmm.
Why should I have any doubt that you aren't lying to me? And it's not so much of the things that are being said, but it's just like there's this look on Rhaenyra's face, like everything is you. That's how I'm looking at it. I see like everything is you. Like, and you always know. And you always know more than you say that you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in this moment, I'm asking you, where's the gold? And you're telling me that you, of all people, don't know where the gold is at? And then she has to really say, they didn't trust me. They didn't want me around.
Mm-hmm.
They hated me for the power that I had. My own father used me and hid things from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this. So these, again, to the earlier point of two friends going back and forth, trying to reconcile those very grave injustices that have befallen their friendships, right? The things that they've both done to each other.
Intentionally and unintentionally.
Yes, exactly. And trying to navigate that in this conversation, it's not just about the gold.
Mm.
It's not, it's about like, you are in a situation that you know how hard it is for women like us to be in. This is not a me, you thing. This is a us thing here.
Are you saying help a sister out here? Is that what?
Both of them, though.
Right.
I think both of them are saying that. They're both saying that to each other. Like, you know how hard this is for me. So give me a bit of grace here to express what I'm expressing, my truth. Because if I can't express it to you, who am I going to express it to?
Mm.
This scene to me is so important to the overall story of Rhaenyra and Alicent. Because it gets to the core of how do you get back? Can you ever get back?
Yeah. Yeah.
What does getting back even look like?
What does it mean? What does that actually me.
I've kept my promises. I did what I said I was going to do.
Under
Aemon's not
extreme
here.
circumstances,
Vhagar's not here.
Yeah.
They didn't shoot. You're in this is what I said I was going to do.
Mm.
But I'm here and look at all that I don't have in order to keep me here. What role did you play in that? Oh, but you know what? We're not going to do anything to you. We're not going to keep you from going to the God's Woods. You'll get to see your daughter a few times a day, a few times a week. This is what I can give to you right now. Which is something that she says to someone else later on in the episode. This is what I can do right now.
And a number of those decisions are not bad decisions. And then a number of those decisions are very bad decisions where she's doing these trade-offs. Like, you can't understand right now the pressure that I'm under, so I can't give you the thing that you want.
Yeah.
Which turns out later, at least with Corlys, is a really bad decision, right? So she's constantly making these, and this is what I was saying before about like not having the decision-making infrastructure around you to process these things, think through these things, think through the ramifications.
Right.
She's just up in her head with Mysaria, with Daemon, with the Grand Maester, everybody coming at her with their own agendas.
Right.
Everybody else has got their agenda, and none of their agendas are Rhaenyra's agenda, which is how do we stabilize the realm? And at least Alicent can see a little bit through to that.
How do we stabilize the realm? How do I stabilize my throne, my claim, my place?
And Alicent is one person who can see through all of that and actually gives her practical advice.
Right.
That's for her, not for Alicent's benefit, but for Rhaenyra's benefit. So that getting back to their relationship, like what does it mean to get back to where we were before?
Right.
That's at least the spirit of it. Like, I can give you something that's for you and it has no value to me. Now, yeah, I'm not giving it to you as coin to get payback later. I'm just giving you the advice that you need to hear right now for the sake of the advice. Sorry, you were going to say something before.
No. That's, yeah.
Why doesn't Helena want to stay in that room? I didn't get that.
How?
I don't know, maybe somebody could write in. Like, what is that? What room were they in, and why was that? That wasn't the nursery where her kids were killed. I didn't think that's what that room was. So
I don't think it was.
Okay. There's a great thing too in this scene is where we start to get that low background rumbling of sort of using the sound design to give us the interiority of Rhaenyra's space inside of her head. So very cool. And then later when she sees Jace in the hallway, and I think Dopamine had some points about this in her voicemail that we'll get on Thursday. We got to remember how much strain physically, mentally, not just the mental, but the physical, the actual PT, that she's lost 2 sons in the span of how long? How long ago did all this kick off? It's not long, right?
Not long at all. No.
This is not years. Lucerys wasn't killed 3 or 4 years ago. He was killed like a month ago or something.
Yeah, this is months.
So she's lost both of her sons and her father and given birth. And so when she sees another guy walking in the street, it's like, it totally, yeah, like who wouldn't be seeing some ghosts, right? At least that's the way I was taking it. I don't know if that's, or if other people have, I'm curious to hear what people think about that scene. So I love the way that she says to Mysaria, let the staff be questioned, as if like, let the rain fall on them, let the sun shine upon them, like, let this thing happen, let it happen that they get interrogated. I just love the phrasing of that. And then we get Alinda Massey, who is her lady in waiting, who went to the town. We get her name, and we see her later. But anyway, this is where she gets called up. So I thought that was kind of cool. No anointment for you. Rhaenyra meets with the High Septon of the Faith of the Seven in the throne room.
Jeez. Wait. if man, let me tell you something. These septons, they gotta go. I have not met one good ass septon yet in this entire in the history of the septons. I have not met one good one yet.
This is the fun part about having perfect knowledge, right? Of multiple seasons of television, so we get to see
get rid of these septons, man. You know what I'm saying? And standing there with this like holier than thou.
Oh
like,
yeah.
What are you saying? Oh, dragons.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. I got a quote right here.
You got it, right?
Yeah, I got it. Here comes.
What do you say?
A dragon appeared to me in my greatest need.
My gods do not deal in dragons. They are a profane magic created in darkness and pride and lust for power, for impunity. They destroy, but they do not create. There is no good that can come of them.
Man, that guy's just eating the scenery. I love it.
Yeah. Dracarys his
shit
ass.
out of that.
Take him outside and Dracarys his ass. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how your gods deal with that, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. You know what I mean? Just who cares what you have to say? Get out of here, dude. Like I know she, you know, when he says that, don't make an enemy of the faith.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But in that moment, I wanted her to.
Right. So
yeah, I wanted her to.
So a question is his assessment, okay, great, granted he's he's standing between her and the throne and her legitimacy. And he's wielding his power and blocking her. Even in the shot, I posted a screenshot in the Discord of this. The way they compose the shot, he's standing between her and the throne, yes. And he's eye line matched with the throne, and it's like it's such a great use of visual of the shot of whatever I'm saying, cinematography. But is he wrong about dragons? Are they profane magic?
No.
Are they destroyers and not creators?
No.
Can good come from a dragon?
Yes. Did you not see Sheepy feed? What are we even talking about here?
Sheepy.
We
got no Sheepy this episode. I'm sorry, man.
A hungry, downtrodden Targaryen in the wild and said, "You hungry? I got you. You hungry? I got you." That's what Sheepy said.
Oh man.
No. Yes, he's wrong. He is 1,000% wrong. Yes.
All right. Well, I think he's got a point. I think it's interesting. No matter how odious his position is.
It's not the dragon. It's the intent is what they make the dragon do.
All right. So it's not the tool, it's the tool user.
It's not the dragon. The dragon is not inclined to do what dragon riders make them do.
Because they just be out eating sheep.
And
living living and sharing.
No, and sharing. You got to be clear about this. He's not just going around just eating random sheep. He's eating sheep and sharing sheep.
Sharing with a Targaryen. With a, because we have to remember, was it Caraxes burned a whole bunch of other dragon seeds?
Hey, I ain't know what they did to deserve it, but shit had to get done. It got done. It's not my call. It's not my call.
You're just glad you weren't there.
Basically.
Oh, man. All right. So I think this is still an interesting thing, though, regardless of his point of view on the dragons, is just this legitimacy of power.
Yeah.
And who legitimizes your power. And JD over on the Dungeons and Do-Rag podcast and YouTube show, which is a new affiliate of ours, I was listening to their episode 3 coverage, and they got a great guest on there. This one of Ron's TikTok neighbors. And anyways, it's a good episode. I haven't finished it yet. Anyway, JD makes this point about how in earlier times and when he did his studies in theater and stuff, and they were studying sort of Elizabethan, whatever, medieval, that this question of appearances as to the legitimacy of rule, that you follow all the forms and the people are seen to see that that God has anointed you and all of this stuff. So yeah, you could make, you could have good trade and protect your people and their crops and all that kind of stuff. But without the appearance of the legitimacy of the rule, your rule will always be suspect.
Yeah.
And now, we don't use that form in the same way, but yet the appearance of power and how somebody appears to wield power is as important as how many votes you got or how many small dollar donations you got. Right. There's different ways that we measure legitimacy now. Or question legitimacy. Like people, might question your current mayor. Like, is this guy really legitimate? Because he's got some funny letters after his name. His party is got a weird name. It's got a boogeyman name in there. We're going to make it a boogeyman name.
I don't think that speaks to legitimacy, though.
Okay.
I think that the legitimacy that we're talking about here is being recognized by the people say they're the ones, when the Septon says, don't make a enemy of the faith. It comforts and aids people, blah, 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 right? It's not that the people view the Septon as part of the hierarchy that makes the decisions as to who rules. The dragons made that decision when the first Targaryens first stepped foot in the Seven, right? The power that they held, that they displayed when Aegon the Conqueror came through with his sister wives, was the legitimacy. Throughout time, you just can't go around burning people all the time. That doesn't bode well, right? Because you're going to lose your tax base if you keep doing that. You're going to lose the people who grow your crops if you keep doing that. So they had to find other ways to make themselves legitimate in the eyes of the people that they chose, the people that they ruled. But the power, and I think this is what Rhaenyra is hinting at. The dragons, yeah, I have the power to be legitimate if I so choose to be.
That's Daemon's argument. We got 6 dragons. Go to the ends of the earth and just take what you need.
I think this is our argument with the Septon in this moment, is that I have the power to be legitimate, but still I come to you because I recognize that, much to your dismay, I do see the value in elevating who the small folk turn to when they don't look at me. So yes, she is the same way that Daemon, let me not say the same way. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Well, this is Varys's famous line, right? Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall.
Yes. But it's always going to reside with the dragons.
Right. Well, that's a real politic kind of thing. Is like, who's got the nukes, right? Who's got the guns?
That's what I'm saying. But we're going to make it so that, we don't have to constantly remind you by burning the motherfuckers up that we got the dragons. So,
well, that's her father's argument.
That's her father's argument. That's what I'm saying. So we're getting the two sides.
And she's trying to find herself in this position. She's got Daemon pulling her one direction, and she's got her father's ghost pulling her in another direction. She's got Mysaria whispering in her ear. And then she's got the High Septon blocking her.
Right.
Just being a real jerk.
All of this is happening.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if she wanted to, she could dispense with all of this. But she doesn't want to. Because the importance in having the recognition, not from the small council, not from the nobles, the houses, but from the small folk. They have to buy in.
And the way to get to them messaging wise is through the Seven.
Yes.
Because that's where most of them, I'm guessing, believe, and that is those power structures within that religion.
At least in King's Landing.
And distribute the information, right? They're gatekeepers of information.
Right.
And not saying that gatekeeping is good or bad. It's what you do with it, right? Because the flow of information is important, as is the information itself.
But I think it's important that we see Rhaenyra recognize this.
This episode is all her dealing with the practicalities of rule.
And this is what she has to show. And she knows it. And for it to be any other way, for them not to interact, for, the people running up to her and saying, hey, I need this, we need that, for that not to happen wouldn't be true. They have to show her in this mode, because this is very much in the way that Daemon is not. He would not counsel her to do this. He would, like you said, he would just counsel her to do whatever the fuck you want.
Go take your dragons and take it from
We had the dragons. No one can stop us. We can do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do it.
Which is also, like we can poke holes in that argument as well. I mean, we've been watching that new World War II series that Tom Hanks is narrating. I don't know if you've seen. I haven't seen really good. Oh yeah, it's they're dropping 2 episodes every Monday right now. And I think we're up to 12 episodes out, or 14 episodes, something like that. Anyway, one of the last most recent episodes was on the air war and the air power in World War II, and how the Allies, the Americans and the British, were using strategic bombing, and how it wasn't working. And for as much quote unquote precision bombing as the Americans were doing during the daylight hours, the Germans were able to adapt to that and move things around. And there's all kinds of complications. So you can't, just because you have a dragon doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to hold ground or get people to capitulate, or, or actually acquiesce to your demands. Maybe they will in the short run, but unless you have the structures of power in place around them, holding people to account, it doesn't work. Air power alone only goes so far. And I was doing some just noodling around on the internet too, just thinking about different cultures and societies over on Earth One here, and who's lasted long and what worked and what hasn't. Sort of, the Romans made a good run of it for a long time, but one of the things they did was they had political structures and legal structures and infrastructure structures. They had all kinds of stuff to create a robust, control for that long, like 1,000 years, right?
Right.
You can't do that with just a dragon. You've got to put people into place. Daemon's argument is so short-sighted because it's not building a political infrastructure and a military infrastructure and a legal infrastructure and an economic infrastructure that is going to sustain you being able to control all of this territory forever and a day. And part of that has to do with the appearance of power, that people believe that you are the legitimate rulers. I don't know what you're thinking there. You're just...
No, I'm hearing you. And for me, I think if Daemon were to be king, let's just say, if Daemon were to be king, I don't even think he would stay.
Like, you think he'd piss off after a little while?
Yeah.
There's no way he's dealing with the tallow and the bedchamber and
he would burn a few people, and then
policy.
he would fly somewhere to do more conquering if he could.
Right.
Free of constraints. I don't think he would stay to quote unquote rule.
Which makes you even question, like, bro, why do you even want the title of the crown? Like, why would you even attempt to reach for that?
So he can roll up in a new land and say, yo, I'm king of whatchamacallit, and I'm here. What's up?
To what end? Right? To ultimately
just to that end. Just to that end. I think he would fancy himself an Aegon, reimagined.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
go somewhere and bring the truth of the Targaryens to them. I don't think he would even stay in Kingsland.
We hear him arguing with Mysaria in these various meetings, like, "Oh, the poor people are just rebel rousing, and he is not thinking about the small details of actually ruling."
No, not at all. And I don't think he would, which is why his advice is just burn this shit down.
Right. It's terrible. He's a terrible advisor.
Right.
He may be a good fighter, like put him in the battle, but All right. Well, we got to move on to the next scene here. I don't know. Maybe I should. I put this title.
I don't know about this one right here.
I've been hearing some chatter, so I'm just curious. Because, Rhaenyra dines with Corlys and his sons, and then after dinner, she passes Baela in the hall. Unable to sleep in her father's bed, she finds comfort with her husband. But this question of her not recognizing, not seeing the family resemblance in Corlys' son. I've heard some funny takes on this. I was curious to what your thoughts are.
No, like when she first said it, my eyebrow did raise, like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? You ain't seen the resemblance. Like, let's not be, come on. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? It came to me. But then it left because she's not been around black folk.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it would have been a surprise or that I don't see color coming from her in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was it. I think she legit just didn't think that after Laenor that he had any other kids that she didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
She never took the time.
She was never interested in him.
Right. She never took the time to learn. She hated him at a point because of what she did what he did to his son. So it wasn't as if she was going around and asking about Corlys and,
being interested in his life and his family and what they're all up to.
Yeah. So I didn't take it as the I don't see color situation.
Well, you should definitely go listen to the Dungeons and Durags guys, because they're having some fun with this topic. Pretty funny.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did.
The real quick though, we got to speed up here a little bit, but there's a point I wanted to make quickly. We don't see the Valyrians later on in the story in Game of Thrones, right? They're not around anymore.
Pretty much, though, yeah.
And again, I'm not a book reader, so I don't know these deeper histories. But it feels like the Valyrian line is about to come to an abrupt end in this show. In House of the Dragon, Corlys and his folk are not going to make it out. And if you look, Laena, Laenor, Vaemond, Rhaenys, the Valyrian fleet, Driftmark, all in service to the Targaryens, ground up in the machinery of Targaryen bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. This house is gone. It's gone. It has no legitimate heirs left. No blood heirs.
They won't be gone. But to your point is they will suffer greatly.
And they have suffered. They keep giving. They keep giving. They keep giving. And we could talk about Corlys and his motivations and whatever, but every time they give, the Targaryens take, and they get nothing in return.
I mean, but my thing is, Corlys could have done better for his family.
Mm-hmm.
One, he did not have to have Laenor wed Rhaenyra. He didn't have to push for that. His wife told him don't do that.
Mm.
He knew that Laenor was gay.
You're right. He knew it.
He knew it. But he did it anyway because he felt like that was going to be the way that the line made a move for the throne. Right? Through his heir.
Right. Yeah, that would be a prime, right. If they had a kid,
right. then that would be that kid would have been next in line.
Right.
So he didn't have to do that.
Which goes into his whole second son complex.
Yes. So everything that he's doing is because he wants to obtain power status that he already has.
He doesn't need any more.
Everybody wants more in this show.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take a step back, he set things into motion for his family that he didn't have to. He was, he was married to Princess.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Rhaenys is princess.
She's got power. She had a lot of soft power. Excuse me.
And if she
and they had the fleet.
Yes,
they had a lot of power. They were
the wealthiest house.
Mm.
They were the wealthiest house. And I would argue that if not for him pushing first Viserys to marry his 11-year-old child,
yeah,
and then forcing Laenor to marry Rhaenyra, I would say that if he had not done those things, that perhaps the Valyrians would not be in the situation that they are, where he's desperately grasping to find a way up,
right,
for his family, not for his sons, but for his family.
And it is still the case that the closer you get to the machinations of power and the more you want it, I think part of one of the moral, lessons of the story, so to speak, I guess we could say, is that it will grind you up, and it will grind up everything that you hold dear.
And that's exactly
everything that you have, you put importance on in your life. It will grind. The more you keep feeding the machine, it will keep grinding you.
That's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah.
So you say they keep giving and giving, and the Targaryens keep taking and taking. You're right. Absolutely. But his house was the wealthiest house.
Right.
Before the dance, before all of this.
Right.
But he kept trying to attain more. So what role does he play in the loss that they've encountered?
That's a good point.
He's not without,
without sin. Yeah.
Agency. No, not without sin, but also not without agency in the way that he, Viserys, that was his boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was his guy. Come on, man.
And now in position as the hand, he was a good wartime hand, but he is not a good peacetime hand because he's thinking about, he's wounded. His everything, he's got 2 bastard sons. That's all that's left. Drift marks aflame. His fleet is smashed. And he's not thinking about how are we going to feed the small folk. He's thinking about, I defer to the queen. What? You're the freaking hand of the queen. Queen, you got to have an opinion, man. You got to be up in this, helping her make the hard calls.
How does my line survive?
Yeah, that's all he's thinking about right now.
That's what he tells her.
All right, we're getting near the episode here. Let's end the episode. Let's take another real quick break, and then let's see if we can speed run the back half here.
All right, cool.
All right, we're back. Rhaenyra is preparing to hear from the small folk with her lady in waiting, Alinda Massey. She then hears their petitions while sitting on the throne. And I want to make a note here, too. There's a bunch of stuff going on in here. And again, we're going to have some good feedback. Dopamini already sent us a voicemail on this topic, and there's been some great conversations in the Discord about this. And there's a bunch of stuff going on in here, and I just want to be a little bit careful in navigating some of the conversation because we'll address it more in the feedback episode. But man, this little set of scenes here, it carries a lot of weight. There's a lot of important stuff going down in this. Everything from her getting dressed to hearing the petitions and seeing and sitting on that throne. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on. What are your top line takes for what we got?
It's so difficult to be in the situation that she's in without really the help that she needs, right? So she's here. She has to listen to the petitions.
It's an important part of the appearance of power, right? That small folk have access to their ruler.
Got to do that, right? She has her period. She has to listen to people who she can't show that she has any sort of emotion. She has to sit there, be stone-faced, make these decisions. Her son died.
Yeah.
Aegon is missing. The Septon is basically saying, yo, I'm not going to go along with what you're doing until I can see a body.
And even then, I'm going to do it reluctantly.
she does. She already. She had this conversation with Corlys, so she knows where that's headed. She has no gold. Everything is coming to a head right now.
Yeah.
And as we see her sit there and listen, and there's this determination on her face that is like, I'm going to get through this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get through this shit. Like, that's what I felt in that moment. Like, she's sitting here and she has all of this at her. Everything is just laid out for her. And she is, it's almost like she's looking past everyone, if that makes sense. When the maid, gives her the tea and whispers, "It's for your cramps," right?
Right.
And she looks at it. She doesn't drink it. You have to be like, I'm sitting there like, I know I would have drank that shit. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. To soothe the pain that I'm in, I would have taken something to soothe that.
Mm-hmm.
Me. Right? Because it's not just the physical pain that she's in. We've yet to see her, let go. I don't think I've seen her, at any moment in time since I've yet to see her smile.
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
Right? And here's something that can help you through the pain that you're feeling. And she's like, no, I don't want it. I'm not going to take it. That's like, I know I couldn't do it. I know that I couldn't do it. And then the second thing I thought about was when she's walking to the throne and we follow her footsteps are bloody.
Oh, wasn't that was the last episode?
Yeah, that was the last episode. That was the ending of the last episode, because she sits down on the throne, her footsteps are bloody.
Yeah, that was an amazing visual. Awesome visual.
Now she's in her first capacity as queen.
Yep.
And it's before it wasn't her blood on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's hers.
Mm.
Literally. She's in this moment. Her footsteps, her blood led her to the throne. Mm. And now she's sitting on it and her blood is on the throne. This is her shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is hers.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's a lot, right? There's a lot going on. And just before this, we see the visual is unmistakable when she's getting dressed. Elena Massey crowns her. Mm. Right? She's crowned the queen, right? And it's like sometimes we, in a show, there'll be a scene where people get married, but they're not getting married. They're not in a church and there's not somebody officiating, but there's something that happens. Oh, there's wedding, or there's a symbolic death. Somebody drowns, but then they pop up. Luke popping up out of the garbage compactor underwater. That's his rebirth, right? And he's now, heroic, right? He's gone through this baptism. So this is a symbolic moment of Rhaenyra being crowned by somebody, another woman in this case. And then she's sitting on the throne, which is the trappings of power, the appearance of power, hearing petitions from the small folk from which her power base ultimately resides.
Right.
She has to cultivate that relationship with those people, with the small folk. to ultimately to be able to maintain her position, because the nobles are going to erode her at every chance they get.
Right.
And meanwhile, she's doing it as a human being with all of the stuff that's going on for a woman who's lost 2 children, recently given birth, and then is physiologically having her first period, which is a dopamine we'll talk about in their voicemail. But it's a big deal. And it's all happening to her in this moment on this
all
tier.
at once.
All at once. I thought it was interesting too, just this thought of like, well, we don't have meat and we don't have wool and blacksmith don't have anything going on, and the archers and whatever. The flywheel of the economy is really broken. And to recreate the economy and get things rolling again while keeping as many people alive as you can in the short term, that is no small feat. And God, I don't know how they're going to get through all of that, because it's a tangled mess. Wasn't so one of the woman that came up who talked about the rich hoarding during the times of famine, Sylvie, didn't Aemon lay with her? Wasn't she the person?
No.
Wasn't that Sylvie?
I didn't make note of that. Huh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's who. Remember when Aemon is laying in one of the pleasure houses, and Aegon comes in with his Kingsguard buddies, and they find him curled up. I think that was Sylvie.
Huh. Okay. Okay.
But somebody can correct us. They can write in. So we go real quick into the tiny council here, where we've got Daemon arguing with Visaria about the poor, and they're just rebel rousing. We got Mom Donnie's landing here. Queen Rhaenyra tried to bring some socialism to the people, but we got the rich folks arguing back. And we've got it in Rhaenyra's got it in her head about trying to do something about it. And then Corlys just checks out. He's like, I don't want none of this sniping.
Yeah.
This is not good. And then the question of what would your father do? So the only thing I want to flag here, and we can talk about it a little bit later, but this idea of noblesse oblige, or the obligation of the noble.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got another spot where we can talk about that. So I just want to flag that, and then jump forward really quick to Rhaenyra knighting the 3 dragon scene. This was just hilarious. I think not. The white. Okay, great. But then I think here, right, there's some unintentional harm that's being done to all these guys. I mean, Ulf is an oaf, but he's getting smacked around. I'm sure Daemon would have rather cut his head off than
you see how he tilts his head when Daemon is knighting him. He tilts his head away from the sword.
Exactly. He flinches
like,
away.
you're not gonna cut my head off today. Get out of here.
And then later, the Hammer says, "Hey, what about my family in Tumbletown?" Right. So we know that there's some hurt coming from there.
Right.
And then just calling Adam, giving him Hull and not anything else.
His face, man.
And he was so pleased when they were sitting at dinner earlier when she said, you were my assurance that the gods legitimize my rule. Adam is so proud of that moment.
He's so hurt in that moment. He is so hurt in that moment. And when Daemon knights him and afterwards, and she's giving them the oath to take, the look on his face is like,
He doesn't say, he goes, yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's like,
he doesn't say, I swear to blah, 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 blah. He doesn't
got that look on his face like he's thinking.
He's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's thinking.
Sure, why not? Okay, so moving on. So then we talked about this a little bit before, where Alicent comes to Rhaenyra to make a request, and they talk a little bit. Great scene. There's this line that Rhaenyra drops: "I acknowledge the struggle, but dispute what I must become. Dispute that what I must become is what I'm not." I'm paraphrasing there. I think I flubbed the notes a little bit. But this idea that there's things that you can know about being a parent. I can know about being a pilot, but until you do, I can know about riding a bike, but until you do it and you are changed by it, you can't know that change until you're changed. And so to carry the weight and actually rule, Rhaenyra has trained and observed and been around it all her life, but until she carries that weight, there's no way for her to know what that is going to do to her. Just like not knowing what being a mother was like before being a mother. And it's not just giving birth, but it's actually caring for a child and loving a child as they grow, and all of the days and the nights that you're involved in that affects a person. And there's lots of things that we do that we can know about, but until we do them, do they affect us for us to really not even just know the truth, just be changed by it. Alicent's like, girl, you can know all this stuff, but you're not there yet. And you're going to be challenged and tested, and you're going to have to change, and you're going to have to figure out how to make that change, how that's going to be changed.
But I think it's important for her to say that, though.
It is important. Absolutely.
It's important for her to say that. And it goes back to, when you said, talking about her centering herself, grounding herself. It's important for her to remember that. Like, I might be queen, but I need to stay who I am. Like, I need to stay who I am. And it's an important message that she needs to verbalize, because everyone is going to want to change her.
Yes. Yeah. So you got to have a place from which to start with. And again, this is Alicent giving her practical, real advice. There's a door that you have to know. You have to design this room for yourself so that you can be the public you and the private you, and you can hold yourself in that other space. But until you do that, you don't know. You got to do it. And until you do it, you won't know how that works. Anything else? Oh, yeah. I loved her comment. Alison's comment. She's like, man, your dad was in a bubble. And none of us were inside that bubble. None of us. He was in his own world. And I liked how later, I think, coming up, Daemon says, oh, he renounced his dragon. He did he renounce his dragon? Because he flew, what dragon did he fly? It was the big one. It was a big, big, big one. Wasn't it? And it died, right? Deceased.
Yeah.
Balerion. Yeah, no, Balerion. In our show guide, I was just checked the show guide.
Okay.
There. Yeah.
Right.
So didn't Balerion die after he wrote it a couple of times?
I believe so.
Straight up died. So yeah, so it's, that I think that says something about what Daemon thinks about his brother and about power and using, having these flying nukes. But yeah, he did. He, was he afraid of the doom of Valyria? Because that's all he did was spend his time, carving his little statues to Valyria. Was he just constantly? I think he was constantly in fear of exercising his power, because if he exercised his power, that would cause doom. But then in not exercising his power, he let a whole bunch of stuff happen. Right? He was a flawed ruler.
Right.
So. Right. The banquets. Are you where are you at with the banquet? Because I had some thoughts.
Yeah, I loved it.
You think it's practical? I mean, yeah, sure, we love it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is practical because of who she did it to.
Yeah, but those are the people. You need those people.
Yeah, you need those people, but do you need those people?
They are the ones who have warehouses. They're the ones who have ships. They're the ones who have carts. They're the ones that have the ability to financially keep the flywheel running.
But they also cannot, dispute your claim as ruler. Mm-hmm. She knew who she was poking.
Right.
She knew who she was poking. It wasn't any. There were no members of the great houses there.
No, it was all petite bourgeoisie. It was all people who. Is it even petite bourgeoisie? Is there minor nobles?
There were merchants and minor houses, is what she said.
Right.
Merchants and minor houses.
And you need those people to keep the economy working.
You do. And then if you have enough of the things that they want, and what did those, what could that be? Status, wealth.
Yeah.
There are ways to get around this banquet. And it's also a power play.
It's totally a power play.
It's also a power play. One that she could not have done with the major houses.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated that she makes the claim to say, like, I know who I can, fuck with in different ways. I know, where I can, do the things that I just did,
right?
And to whom, because she's going to have to do that. She's going to have to play that game of knowing which buttons to push and whose buttons she's pushing.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch this guy? Oh, the poor, they're thieves and they fight like rats. And I'm like, bro, have you ever seen upper middle class motherfucker fight like a rat? Absolutely. I've seen some people screw some people over in the worst possible ways, and they are not poor. And I think we got some real situations like that going down right now. So, right. So I loved the commentary that they put onto that line of dialogue that, oh yeah, these poor people, they're just thieving. It's like, no, man. You're talking about yourself right there.
Exactly.
You're pointing your finger at yourself. I think there's this really interesting question just from a historical standpoint and sort of a political philosophy standpoint, the question of noblesse oblige, and I can't pronounce this word. There's this Hellenistic generosity. I stumbled across it when I was looking at the Wikipedia page. Eurogentism or something like that. So these ideas of people with means and people without means and obligations between them, and how things are redistributed through different forms. It seems to be a pretty broad human scope, but a lot of the way it's done is very different throughout history. But there has always been some kind of, oh, you got a lot and you don't have a little, and there's some interplay between those. And at least within medieval society, maybe if Marilyn is probably listening to this, I don't know Marilyn, if you know anything about the idea of noblesse oblige, but the obligations of the noble and how that was codified into society and how that plays into this with these minor houses. And when there's a fracture in that, or when that's broken, when that obligation is left behind, doesn't necessarily go so well. So I think there's some interesting things there. Who's this Torrin Manderley guy, Dan Fogler? A lot of people are talking about him. They were happy to see him. He was the dude at the end of the banquet when she was walking out.
Yeah, he'll play a role coming up.
Okay. Obviously, because they give him a whole bunch of screen time. So I was thinking, oh, well, if you need a small council guy, like that guy's pretty sharp. Like he called it out. He told her straight. He told the queen straight. It was your blockade that caused this problem. So maybe they'll forget about that because they're all mad about their warehouses getting
the Manderleys have a role to play. Let's just say that.
I appreciated his candor, so I thought he would make a good small council person, but we'll see. Like you said, they got a role, and I don't know the actor. Everybody's talking about the act, how excited they are to see this actor.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the actor.
Yeah, no, I looked at his filmography really quick, and I didn't recognize anything. And apparently, he's an American actor, which everybody was like, "Oh my god, an American actor!" Because there's so many non-Americans on the set in this cast. We talked about this already a little bit, but Daemon tries to convince Rhaenyra that they could be like gods. I think anything else you want to say about this? I think we've kind of covered everything.
No, I just know Daemon. That's
dude was tripping.
Exactly what I said. Yeah, he's ready to go, man. He's ready to go.
Straight tripping.
He's done with all this bullshit. He's just ready to go. Let's go do some others. Let's go do some other bullshit. This bullshit, I'm done with.
I want to go see some winging men.
Yeah, let's get to some other BS. That's what he's doing.
All right, so I think we can wrap up here. Sort of everything sort of comes to a boil real quick here. Rhaenyra and Mysaria talk in the carriage as they ride over to the Great Sept of Baelor, where they distribute parcels of goods and foods to the common folk. Corlys confronts Rhaenyra regarding Adam's title, and then Rhaenyra tells Alicent that Daeron is to take the black, and Alicent confirms his identity. And then we have the Dragon Keeper at the gate. So we got a bunch of things here, but I have a little piece of audio that I need to play for you real quick.
Our children are bastards!
Vaymond. The voice of Vaymond from the past.
Smiling down from the heavens at his brother. That's all I got to say about that. That guy, my brother. My brother.
That's what I'm saying about the Targaryens and the Valerians, man. Because, like, you know, Daemon took Vaymond's head, right? Like every member of this family has gotten the bad end of the Targaryens. So
that was great.
Yeah,
that was great.
But yeah, Corlys lets loose, man. Stephen Toussaint, like, he finally got to do some acting. Right? Instead of playing this sort of stoic, you know, oh, I'm the sea snake, or like, he actually got to light it on fire there for a second.
I think he's been doing some acting. This is not
but it's all been very flat. You know, he's got to be, he's a very controlled character.
I gotta disagree with that.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Pull up grab me a scene and we'll talk about it next time.
All right, cool.
I want to see where he's throwing some fire.
Okay.
So this, passing out goods, throwing turkeys out the back of the truck in the hood, you know, all that, you know, power to the people kind of stuff.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
In front of the Sept of Baelor.
In front of the Sept.
So
smart.
And doesn't Mysaria says, like, let this be your coronation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. She gets crowned by Elena Massey and then
by the people.
And then by the people legitimizing the rule. And she says, you know, we've been apart too long. So I forgot to ask you this earlier when, well, it's sort of a combined, it's a great bookend, right? Because we get the beginning and the end of with the Hightower, trickery here. Hook, line, and sinker, man. I thought that Daeron was Daeron. I did not think he was fake Daeron Farron.
Oh, okay.
I was completely, and then I went back today when I was doing prep, and I pulled up the scene from episode 1, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's our Hightower guy there, right? There's what's his name, Ormond, at the beginning when he receives the messenger. It's about 30 minutes into, I think, episode 1. And who's standing behind him? A redhead squire wearing Hightower green, who, you know, they got me so good.
They awesome.
Played the whole scene perfectly. At the very beginning of this episode to this, I was like, oh my God, so good. So I had a lot of fun with that. And I thought finally somebody's taken the black, right? Nobody's been taking the black. Everybody's getting killed in this story.
But my question is, why didn't Rhaenyra do that?
To do what? Do what?
Dye the boy's hair.
What do you mean?
Bleach blonde them motherfuckers. Like her sons.
Oh, you mean Jason?
Yes. Bleach blonde them motherfuckers. Like, what are we doing?
Luke.
And every time they get the touch-ups, heads will roll, so nobody knows.
That's
where we going?
Blooded shit, man. You're killing a lot of barbers.
I'm just saying. Like, we could have avoided this whole shit.
Right, exactly. All these shenanigans. Everybody still would have known, but at least the appearance of it. Right?
Everything could have been avoided.
That's right. Oh, it looks like Switzerland went through on penalties, huh?
Yeah. That's right.
You been watching the World Cup much?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Man, I'm really sad to miss the Egypt Argentina.
Allez les bleus. You know, that's my last hope now.
What's that?
The blue, les bleus, les bleus, les bleus, les bleus.
The French.
The French.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
I was kind of bummed.
They got a whole team of diaspora. Let's go.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're playing Morocco, so it's looking pretty European in this final bracket here, except for Morocco.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're here to talk about. Let's finish up the House of the Dragon right quick. I think that's it.
And but Corlys, let me just say this again. Corlys, like he, he is doing everything that he's doing for his own game, for his own self. Right. Nothing for Adam, nothing for Alan. It's just for him. So when he dies, he can feel good about dying. Mm-hmm. That's all he's doing. And that is unfortunate. And I hope we get to a point where we can see some real contrition on his part for what he's done, not just to his 2 remaining sons, but to the children that he had before and to his wife. Because I blame him for a lot of what happened to the Valerians. And I just can't get over that. And I'm happy that Alan and Adam have made their peace with who Corlys is, but I have not.
The final word from Jean. Well, if you agree with Jean or you want to take issue with what he's got to say, you can email us to hotd@thelorehounds.com. Nancy, our hand of the pod, has been helping us, but she is also on a trip, spending some time with her family. So I think I don't know when she gets back, but maybe by next episode. So generally speaking, if you email in, you'll probably hear back from Nancy because she loves to interact with folks. And man, I'm telling you, Nancy may not like to be on a podcast, or we've tried to. We had her on, I think, once. She was like, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like the sound of my own voice." Blah blah blah. All that. I mean, people are self-conscious and whatever. But she is as much a part of this. She loves taking this feedback. She loves working on the show guide. She is as big a nerd as anybody, and we are so grateful to have her efforts with organizing all this.
Thank you.
And we got a lot of other great community members that we'll give a shout out to for in a minute. Gosh, what do we got going on? Vampire Lestat. I think they just dropped an episode on Monday. Got Supergirl. X-Men 97 season 2 is coming back. Is that?
Yeah, that's already started, and we're probably going to do a season ender one shot. Okay,
right on. Check out Dungeons and Do-Rags, barber shop style conversations. And they're covering House of the Dragon Weekly as well. So go check out them. Silo episode is out. And I know that Alicia's also got some subscriber exclusive book club stuff running parallel with that. Never mind the music, just released. Go check out the episode with you and Mark.
Yes, please. About Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. Questlove is really kicking it with these docos, man.
Yeah. I watched some summer. Oh, gosh. He did one like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. The name of it is escaping me, but keep going and I'll come back to you.
Just looking at their lineup, they've got some good stuff coming up. Alanis Morissette, Lenny Kravitz, Lauryn Hill, and then I know we're coming up on a big anniversary podcast for them. I'll just sort of drop a quiet hint that that'll be a cool show before long. We're recording something special later this month. Don't forget Radioactive Ramblings. Properly Howard's on a little bit of break right now. The Star Wars Canon Timeline Project, and John has been working with some of the guys from Radioactive Ramblings on a new show to cover the Cosmere books, the Brandon Sanderson stuff. And they're doing a sort of a book club thing. They're actually doing a YouTube feed for this, was our sort of our first big foray into YouTube stuff. And I believe that they've got a bunch of episodes in the can, and I think they're going to open that up and start dropping stuff on July, at the end of July. We'll make sure everybody knows about those, but keep your feeds open for that.
Summer of Soul, Questlove.
Okay.
Documentary. Amazing.
And there's so much more going on, but we're going to wrap it up there. It's been a lot. A big episode to talk through. Dude, we're at like 2.5 hours. Thursday, we're recording our feedback episode. I think we'll do it Thursday evening, East Coast time. So if you have thoughts about how I'm bad with my names and can't remember the actors, or you want to get in with Jean on taking Corlys apart bit by bit.
Please.
And, you know,
the
the thing
more
that
the merrier.
one of the things that's generating a lot of conversation that we didn't really talk about because we're saving it for the feedback, though, is this issue of Rhaenyra and managing being a woman and being a woman who is in charge of a kingdom. And when those things come into conversation, so to speak, and all of that, there is a bunch of interesting topics there. So I'm really excited to hear Dopamini's feedback. Cool. So let's give a quick shout out.
I said, yeah.
To our community volunteers. Already mentioned Hand of the Pod Nancy, Master of the Polls, Captain of the Poll Hero, Peter O.H., who sets up our subscriber exclusive movie voting poll thing every week. Keeper of the Show Tracker, Sub-Zero, another great resource. That one's publicly available. The Show Tracker. That is a thing that we keep track. We especially curated list of TV shows and movies that are going down all year long. We have Librarian, Brian8063, and then our moderators on the Discord, Brian8063 and Aaron K. To our Discord server boosters, Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Doob71, Athena Aujulea, Lestu, Nancy M, Ghost of Perdition, Radioactive Richard, and Adrian. These are all folks who donate a little bit of their extra Discord things, I don't know, nitro bits, boosters, whatever, to make the Discord server a little bit more functional. So it's like community supporting community here. So thank you to those folks for looking after our primary community watering hole. And man, there is some conversation going down in the chat right now, and it is really, I love it. Like everything's been real quiet, but then we get a show of substance, and man, people come back and they are just dropping these nuanced points and digging into stuff in the most exquisite way. So awesome. To our lore masters, our top tier subscribers, we couldn't do it without these folks to keep us in the green, making sure that our co-hosts all get to partake in, getting some compensation for their time and effort in this. So to Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter OH, Nancy M, Doof71, Brian 8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Andra B, Kwong Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Dally V, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Ben B, Scott F, I lost my place in the list, Stephen N, Julia F, Collie S, Il Mariel, Rocky Zim, Jessica A, Red Zippy, the TCS, Dopamini, LNR, Ms. Tennant, AC Wilson, Eli W, Cassie K, Chumba Rooney, Catilla, Josh Liu, Painton PDX, Corey G, Quinch, Jeannie L, Slavinator, and forever last but never least, Adrian. You know, Adrian moved overseas, and we were in the.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's doing the expat thing, him and his partner, and I was where he lived, but
get out of here.
We were on opposite sides of the earth when we traveled there.
That's
so
crazy.
It was really funny. So we were going to have a little mini Lorehounds moot, but it didn't work out. So, anyways, Adrian, sorry to miss you, but you live in a really cool town. So, Jean, thanks.
Thank you. Welcome back. And we're going to have fun.
Catch you up next week. Oh, catch you on Thursday for feedback.
On Thursday. Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, peace.
Thank you for listening to The Lorehounds. Please send any questions and feedback to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com or hotd@thelorehounds.com, and check out our Supercast and Patreon feeds for ad-free access and bonus episodes. Look out for all of those links, including links to all other podcasts in our network, in the link tree in the show notes. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities.